There are two things that I want to accomplish besides reading these books. And the first, because... Are you done? Are you done chewing? Do not live in an apartment with a lot of animals, I tell you. That's my only advice. Just stick to one. One pet, two, that's the most you need. Do not go overboard like me. Hey guys, this is Ale, and today I am going to be talking about my February TBR. I am super excited because there are two main things that I want to accomplish besides the books that I want to read. And the first one is that I want to read mainly Black authors because this month we are celebrating Black history. The second one is that I want to make sure that I'm reading romance or romance that's like involved on the theme because we are in Valentine's Day month and I just wanted to get on the mood. So since last month I read 6 books, I wanted to take it as a base number, and I picked 3 young adult contemporaries as well as 3 adult romances. But without me having to ramble too much, we know that I do, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on the first book. The first book of this list is Charming as a Verb by Philippe. This is a young adult contemporary, and on it we follow Henry Haltiwanger. He is charming, he is popular, he is the start of his debate club, he seems to be the perfect son, or so everybody believes, with the exception of Corinne Troy. She is labeled as intense at school, but she is quick to realize that Henry is running a scheme with his dog walking services, to what she blackmailed him into helping her make other people think differently of her. And he obviously agrees because, you know, he doesn't want people to find out, as well as maybe there is something in the whole situation that he can take advantage of. I feel like the main reason why this book caught my attention, it's because of the cover. It's just stunning, it's colorful, it has beautiful illustrations. There is a dog right in between the two characters. It's just so stunning, and I could not stop staring at it every time that I will be in overdrive looking for a book from, you know, a public library. Like, I feel like in every single video I said public library, but the second reason why I was drawn into this book, it's because it's set in high school and it's also set in New York. The reason why I say high school, it's because my high school experience was completely different than here in the US, having to study in Latin America, and I just feel like I'm always interested into those interactions and those events that I didn't get to live, as well as New York, because ever since I was back in El Salvador, I've been enamored. I feel like I've been in love with the state. I feel like because I was so into Gossip Girl and Friends, I was just so drawn to it. You know, once I came here, like obviously I didn't get to live there, but I hope that one time I'm gonna be able to visit it. But until then, I get to live vicariously through these books that I always picked up, because as soon as I see that it says in New York, I'm like, that is my book. The next one on this list is Along for a Ride by Mimi Grace. There is also another book by her that I want to read that it's gonna make a scene, so I might put it, it's on my TBR for the future. But on Along for the Ride, we follow Jolene Baxter, who is a hot mess, just like myself. And she's trying to change that, to which she offers her sister and her husband to help them moving across the country. Unfortunately for her, on this 16-hour trip, she has to go with her least favorite person. He is Jason Akana. They both hate each other. They can't stand each other. And now they're stuck on this trip. Unfortunately, after some mechanical issues, they are forced to stop it at a small town where there's some situation happening which makes them see each other differently, and they're not able to deny the chemistry that it's rising between them two. Disclaimer. The reason why I want to pick this book, it's because it has an enemies to lovers trope. I feel like I sound like a freaking broken record, but that is just what drives me whenever I'm going to read a book. And I think also the rest of the books that I have on this list are a love to hate situation, at least on the romance part. So I mean, hate to love situation, at least, on the romance part. So the second reason why this book is on this list is because of the cover. I feel like when it comes to illustrated covers, I am always drawn to them. And even if I don't know anything about the synopsis, I will 10 times out of 10, I will pick up that book. Even if I'm not sure, even if it doesn't have a theme that I like, if it has an illustrated cover, I will read it. The third reason is because it has the road trip element that I have yet to read in a contemporary book. Because I've read many fantasies that have, like the mission or the heist element. But in this case, we have two, contemporary characters in a road trip, and there is a lot of like chemistry maybe and sexual tension happening between them. And, I'm really interested in see how this develops and how the author is able to bring all those elements that I actually like, because I enjoy road trips. Like my boyfriend and I will usually go to Arizona to visit his friends, and I just love the fact that you get to ride and make pit stops too, but you get to do pit stops to get snacks, coffee, you get to take blurry pictures, you get to just pump music and sing as loud as you can, and it's just so relaxing to me. So I'm really interested in seeing how this author wraps all these elements that I like into a book, into a story, and the romance, and I honestly have heard that it's really good, so I'm really excited for this book. The next book on this list is a young adult contemporary, and that is Now That I Found You by Christina Forrest. On the premise of this book, we follow Evie Jones, a rising Hollywood star who, after a betrayal, is blacklisted in the industry, causing her career to be at risk. Fortunately for her, she knows the way to fix it, and that is making an appearance with her grandma, who is a beloved actress in the country. Unfortunately for her, her grandma, who is a reclusive, disappeared just days before this event. But she is not about to lose the only opportunity she has to rise again. So she sets herself into finding her grandma in New York with the help of the last person who talked to her, a musician by the name of Milo Williams. But after her current experience, she is not sure if she can trust him. I think I've lost count of how many times I saw this book at the public library, but every single time I would tell myself, do I really want to read about an actor, like an actress or an actor, just because I feel like every time that I've read one, they are portrayed very self-centered, and I'm not about to enjoy a book like that. But I also find that it has other elements that make me want to find out what happened, and that is the grandma. I feel like whenever there's a grandma in a story, like I'm really interested into, just because I feel like it has something to do with an emotional trauma that I have, but I really don't want to know what happened to the grandma. And the second is that it's set in New York, obviously. And the third one is the fact that our main character or love interest is a musician, and that is rooted into a fantasy that I had growing up, wanting to marry a musician so he could write songs about me. But the main thing is that I want to find out what happened to the grandma, and if there is love in the mix, it's gonna be a plus. The next one on this list is a book that does not need introduction, but it actually does. And that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbett. I am so excited to read this book, but in case you don't know what this book is about, even though it's everywhere, on this book we follow Chloe Brown on her journey to get a life. That's all you need to know. I'm just kidding. Chloe Brown, it's a geeky woman. I'm so excited that I'm like, I have no words, apparently. But Chloe Brown, it's a computer geek. She suffers of a chronic illness, and in an event where she sees her life flash across her eyes, she decides that she needs to get a life. And she starts a list of things that she needs to do to be on track. The first one is to get out of her parents' mansion and live on her own, which she accomplished. And now one of the other things on her list is do something bad. And I know that this revolves around the love interest. Enters Redford Foreman. No, Foreman. Oh my God, that's not Morgan. It's Redford Morgan. He is the epitome of a hot bad boy covered in tattoos, and he rides a motorcycle, and he also has a soft or more artistic side, and he likes to paint at night without a shirt. And how those Chloe knows that, it's because she spies on him. Guilty as charged. Throughout the story, I am under the impression that this is a hate to love trope, and I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear anyone saying,
"Bitch, you said that like 10 times already. Calm the fuck down."
I know, but I have no explanations. The reason why I want to read this book, it's because I've seen this book on Bookstagram, BookTube, my recommendations of Audible and Amazon, and I just want to know what is it that everybody's talking about. I've heard that this is fluffy, that there is a lot of great chemistry, undeniable attraction, steamy scenes, and this sounds like the Nirvana of romance books. So I am really excited. I've been holding myself, and I'm not gonna make this book the first book I read this month, just because I don't want to put pressure on the rest of the titles. I'm stop rambling because I really do want to read this book really bad. The third young adult book on this list is Jackpot by Nick Stone. On this story, we follow Rico, who is a senior in high school, who has the same routine every day. She goes to school, then she goes to her part-time, then she goes home to take care of her sibling, and so on, until the day that she sells a lotto winning ticket and that has yet to be claimed. So she believes that if she finds this person or this ticket, it will help her change her life and her situation. And with the help of her classmate Zan, who is super rich and popular, they investigate the location of this ticket. I've been meaning to read this book for forever. What it was keeping me from actually reading it was the fact that I've heard the book being described as having a unique writing, and I felt intimidated in 2019. I felt like I was not going to be able to get this story, or I was going to feel dumb not being able to grasp what the writer was trying to say. And I feel like now I've reached a point where I don't care if I will seem dumb, or if I'm not, if I'm not able to pick on the writing style, or if I'm not able to get what the writer is conveying. I read for entertainment, so I said to myself that I'm finally gonna follow Rico's story, because the first time I actually read the synopsis, I felt that I could relate to her story, just because me as a teenager, I also had a routine go to school, and I was grounded, and I had to take care of my siblings, and that was like every day. And because of that, I might have not experienced certain things that you would have as a teenager on your high school times. So I really want to know if she's able to find the lotto ticket or not. I don't think that might happen, to be really honest, but it's gonna be more about the journey and maybe the realization of certain things within her life. So I am really interested into finally tackling this book. And my final book on this list is The Wedding Party by Guillory. I am going to try to do my best to not spoil the previous books and the main characters of this story. But basically, our main characters hate each other. They dislike each other. And after a kiss, they're not able to stop thinking about each other. But with their best friend's wedding fast approaching, they get to see each other more than what they would like. To which they decide to blow off some steam of that rising chemistry that they're having, and they set some ground rules to prevent people and their best friend to find out what they're doing. And lo and behold, they use the old rule on every book that says that they're not allowed to fall in love with each other. I don't mind that I've read this before many times. I do not. Especially because it has, the trope. But I was really interested into reading this. I enjoy Guillory's books, even though I do confess that her female main characters do tend to get me frustrated from time to time. But I love how her stories do show you the progress of falling in love of her characters, and I cannot wait to see how these two characters fall in love. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. I cannot wait to actually read it. And those are the books on my TBR. I hope I'm able to at least read one of these ones, but if I'm able to finish the whole 6 lot of them, I do have some honorable mentions. The first one is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbett. This is the second book on the Brown Sisters trilogy. The next one is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. This title and this cover, every time I think about it or see it, makes me think of The Little Mermaid. I don't know if it has any correlation with the story, but that's basically what pops up in my mind every time I hear it. The third book is A Love-Hate Thing by Whitney D. Grandison. I started this book a while back, but because I was also reading another book that I was so into it, I was not able to fully immerse myself on to this story, but I've been wanting to actually finish it. The fourth is actually a series of books that I've heard that I might like, and that is The Reluctant Royals by Elisa Cole. And the only reason why I have not picked up this book is because I don't like the covers. And I just don't feel like picking a book up when it has an actual person on the cover. I'm sorry. Is that too shallow? But, it is a personal preference. And that's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much. If you are at this point on the video, I really, really appreciate you watching it. Let me know in the comments what are some of the titles that you have that you're planning on reading this month. Also, if you have any of these titles on your TBR for this month or for the rest of the year, I am always interested into listening to other people and what they would like to read, or any recommendations as well. And until the next video, adios.